Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us live on Facebook here. We're here to talk about the vote coming up a little bit in November to make medical marijuana legal in Florida, the low THC product that is actually becoming a product here in Florida and should be available by this summer. And we just did a story about that on the news tonight that will be on winknews.com that you can watch. And we want to tell you kind of about a story that we're working on for tomorrow that I think will surprise a lot of people. But we most of all want to take your questions about the whole process, because a lot of people are starting to think about the vote, starting to think about the issue, and have people that they know who are sick who might have a vested interest in how all this comes out. So send us your questions, share this on Facebook so that we can get a bunch of people involved. This story we're doing tomorrow is there's a doctor here in town and a clinic that is already prescribing medical marijuana, not the low THC that's already legal, but full-blown medical marijuana. And a lot of people think, well, I thought I was going to vote on that this fall. I thought that wasn't legal yet. But it's available, and we found in this one place. So we want to tell you a little bit about that story. But send us your questions coming in, too.
I'm Katie Cribs. I'm a producer here at Wink News, and I work with Chris Safadi. And I've got to tell you, it was because of a viewer, just like you out there watching this Facebook chat, a viewer calling in and telling us about this clinic we're going to tell you about tomorrow, that we started doing research on medical marijuana. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of stuff out there. And it's really hard to wrap your mind around it. And we've been researching this for, what, about 3 months now? Yeah,
close to 3 months. And, you know, we're just starting to hear from the groups as far as the politics goes, as far as the vote goes in November. We're just starting to kind of hear from the groups that are going to be putting their points of view out there. But this one, I mean, the people you're going to meet in this story tomorrow, this teenager and her mother have been going through so many health issues for the teenager. And you talked to them more than I did, too.
I did, and you know, as a parent, I've got to say, you know, it's heartbreaking watching your child go through an illness, trying medication after medication that's not working. You know, I've never had to be in that position, but I can only imagine, and this mother's heartbreak of seeing her daughter try these adult medications with adult-sized side effects, really, that are just debilitating. And for her, you'll see tomorrow, and they feel like they finally found something that works.
Yeah, and at the same time that they think they found something that really works, there are people out there, you know, the former prosecutor who says this can't happen, what's going on right now.
Right, and you know, we did some research on the current law, the Compassionate Care Act that was passed 2 years ago. And, you know, it made it very clear on who can and cannot get their hands on low THC. And then about a month ago, so this is 2 years after the original passage, about a month ago, the governor signed a newer version of the bill. It kind of clarified some things from the Compassionate Care Act, and it added that people can now use regular strength marijuana, but only if they are terminally ill and are you know, they get multiple doctors to say they're terminally ill, they've tried all this other medication, and then they can get their hands on the full strength. But other than that, you can't. The only way this summer you could get your hands on low THC is if you have cancer, if you have seizures, or muscle spasms.
Speaking of sort of those limitations, Hannah here sent in a comment, and I'm going to assume that your question, Hannah, is why only 12 months? Like, why you only
12 months? It's part of the Right to Try Act. So they're saying, in the state of Florida, we only want to make low THC available to people suffering, because we've seen that it has worked in other places with people who have these illnesses. However, if you have tried everything and nothing works and you are dying, we're going to let you try full-strength marijuana.
Kind of a last resort, as it stands.
Yeah, like the Right to Try Act.
In the law now, separate from what people will vote on in November.
Mm-hmm.
And Satira, sorry if I butchered your name there. She asks, how about lupus patients? Would they count under this?
Listen, it does not list in this Compassionate Care Act. It does not list all of the different types of diseases. It just says cancer, seizures, and debilitating muscle spasms, if you have muscle spasms. and then if you're terminally ill. So that's it. So the Amendment 2 then would cover debilitating illnesses. And what's considered a debilitating illnesses? Well, that would be up to your doctor to decide that.
Right, that's one of the big things, especially the people who are pro Amendment 2 say this would take lawmakers a little bit more out of the process and give you and your doctor the chance to decide, like any medicine, if that's something that you should take.
And just so you know, we do have links within our story online, so you can learn more about the verbiage of what's on Amendment 2 and what it would cover, and the Compassionate Care Act.
And if you guys go to, by the way, I'm the magic voice in the background. Right. I'm Stan Chambers. I'm the digital director for Wink News, and tonight's story is currently on winknews.com. It's on the homepage. I believe it's the number 2 story, and it has all the links that Katie was referring to a moment ago. Yeah,
so please share that story and share this conversation with people so they can watch it and subscribe to them, because we're going to do tomorrow night after our story, and when we tell you about this situation that's going on in Fort Myers right now, we'll be back here live, and we'd like to hear what everybody has to think about it. So subscribe to our live feeds on Facebook.
And you know, Chris, one more thing I wanted to throw out there too. Sotera, who we interviewed, who they are teaming up with Alpha Foliage, and you know, they're saying we're worried that even though if it's available this summer, a lot of people who want this product won't be able to get it because you have to be seeing a doctor that is registered on the Compassionate Care Registry. You have to be seeing them for at least 3 months before you can get your hands on it.
So in effect, you would have to be seeing them now for it to work for you by the time that this product becomes available in the summer.
Yes, and just so you know, there are only 3 doctors in our area that are currently on that list. Only 3 out of Charlotte, Collier, and Lee.
Chip Douglas here, why should I have to be on my deathbed in critical condition to have access to this form of medication? I guess that's the stipulations in the Compassionate Care Act.
I mean, the answer that we can give you right now is because that's what the law says as the way the law stands now. Whether that should be your decision or not, or what your decision should be, that's really what everybody gets to vote on in November.
So I'm seeing, I appreciate you guys. I see a lot of comments. I see a lot of emojis floating across the screen. We started off with a lot of like thumbs up emojis, and now I'm getting through a few like angry faces because I think people are realizing, okay, I may not qualify for this.
But that, again, I think that's what Chris said, and that's the purpose of Amendment 2 coming back. You know, we all as voters had a chance in 2014 to vote on it during the election in 2014.
Right, and remember, in 2014, even though it didn't pass, it's a constitutional amendment, so it has to pass with 60% or better of the vote, and if my memory's right, it got about 57 or 58%, so it won by a majority if it had been a majority, but it wasn't enough to change the Constitution of Florida, which is what this amendment would do.
And I think the backers of Amendment 2 are thinking, gosh, this was not a general election, and you know, so not as many voters came out than maybe we would have at this election, in the general election, and the tide has turned, they feel, on the popular feeling about medical marijuana.
And there were enforcement questions too. Even some of the groups that were very much against Amendment 2 last time, it was a law enforcement issue, or a way it would be enforced issue, and that seems to be different this time. We'll see as the election gets closer if that's actually true.
And as you guys were talking about that, a lot of heart and thumbs up emojis just flew right across the street.
Well, and for all of you people that are watch tomorrow night, because I really want to hear what everybody thinks about this story, because again, there's a doctor and a clinic here in town right now that says we don't need Amendment 2, it's already legal, and they're already prescribing it.
And they're shouting it from a rooftop. They're not hiding it.
Yeah, they're not hiding it. I mean, it's we didn't have a hard time finding them. So, but again, it's controversial, and there's a former prosecutor who looked at what they're doing and says, well, they should go to jail. I mean, that's criminal. And it wasn't the only person that said that. So I really would like for everybody with us right now, let us know what you think about this story tomorrow, because it's controversial to say the least.
Yeah, it is.
And so you guys are asking a lot of questions. By the way, we love the questions. We love the comments. I would, again, refer you to our story on winknews.com, because the stipulations for use are defined in the Compassionate Care Act, and we have a link to that within our story from today.
It's actually the Office of Compassionate Use, and on that website, and it's run by the health department. So the health department is overseeing the Compassionate Care Act, and they're overseeing the doctors who have to register. They're overseeing the patient registry. So all of that information can be found in the Office of Compassionate Use, the Florida Health Department website.
And we'll get all of that stuff.
It should be online.
Yeah, it's online already, but if it's not, we'll make sure that you have all the links are there so that everybody can look. But again, right now, the way the law is, everything's so narrowly defined as to when the low THC and what, even much, much more narrowly defined full-strength marijuana can be used. Amendment 2 could change all that, depending on how the vote goes.
And, in the updated version that was signed last month, it really stipulates if you violate this, if you lie about your illness, or if a doctor isn't on this registry, they could face first misdemeanor charges and fines up to $1,000. It's very regulated.
What else do we have?
So, I think at this point we are good for now. Again, today's story is on witnews.com with a link to the Compassionate Care Act, so you guys can read for yourself. I see a lot of you guys are interested in this story, so please share this video and also subscribe to our live videos, so that way when we have these kind of discussions, or even we're on breaking news, like you guys will get a notification through Facebook.
And please, tomorrow night on Wink News at 6 o'clock, same time, right about 6:15, we're going to have this story about this clinic here and the doctor, and let us know what you think right afterwards on Facebook.
Cool. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will be here on Facebook tomorrow.